So remember with our back care, I've got a chair here just to remind you, it may be more comfortable for you to start in a chair or sit in a chair when we're just starting out. So you're always really looking after your own back, no pain, and making sure that you're supportive of yourself throughout the class. So welcome. We're in week 5 of our 6 weeks of back care, and today we're going to do a little bit with lifting. Last week we did with bending, lifting safely for your back. So you just want something that you can practice lifting. I'm just going to use a cushion, just something with even just a little bit of weight, so we can apply what we're learning to how we're moving in our life in a practical way. So if you want to grab something, do that. And let's get ourselves centered as we begin. So take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, look around you, seeing, just taking in with your eyes. There's kind of a softness to this seeing, rather than striving, having a hard focus. You're just taking in, letting yourself experience what's here. And then take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, feel your shoulders begin to soften and settle, and feel this body. You may even like to take your hands along your thighs, feel the warmth in your body and feel the ground rising up to meet you. And take another deep cleansing breath in and out, and feeling that breath and beginning to really focus on the breath, breathing in for 5 and out for 5. Or if it feels nicer, don't do the count, just focus on these lovely long full breaths. And as you breathe, I'll tell you a little bit about our fun fact today about the back. And the bit we do on lifting, I'll do integrated into the class. So today it's about understanding a little bit about painkillers, which are often our go-to when we have some back pain. So it's important to know that painkillers are not going to speed your recovery when you're experiencing an episode of back pain. So there is no strong evidence on the benefits of painkillers. Again, they don't speed recovery. They can, of course, give you some relief in the moment. So they can be used in conjunction with other measures like exercise, staying active, but they're a short-term option, partly because they can bring side effects. So know that painkillers aren't solving anything for you, but they may help you get through the day. Remember that use it or lose it. Exercise, which is safer and cheaper, is the preferred option. But you can, of course, with compassion, use them for yourselves. So just to summarize so far, most back pain is mechanical. Your back is stronger than you think it is. Consistent and regular movement is the most effective strategy to prevent further episodes of back pain, although it is quite normal to have episodes of back pain in your life. Sleep has a very important effect on how you experience your back pain and your back health. It's important to bend and lift with awareness. We've looked at ways to bend, we'll look at ways to lift today. And of course, the number one strategy is that you are the expert on your own back. So keep paying attention. As usual today, notice what feels good and see if you can identify 3 movements that would be really nice for your back. And so as we're getting close to the end of the 6 weeks, just have a quote from Maya Angelou. She says, "You may encounter many defeats, but you must not be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. So perhaps with your back, with anything else that's happening in your life, we realize we're growing. Life is a process. There's always ups and downs. And there's so much rich learning when we trust ourselves, trust the process, and tune in. So I invite you to bring your hands to your heart and set an intention for your practice today. A way of being, a way of approaching your body, maybe your back. Maybe it's peace, acceptance, openness, curiosity, strength, confidence, trust. How can you be today with your body during your practice, and maybe take that off the mat at the end of the practice into the rest of your day? Repeat it to yourself. And then taking a deep breath in, take your arms overhead and have a big stretch up to the sky. And breathing out, let your arms come down and come up to standing for our activation. The four corners of your feet on the ground, softness through the knees, bringing together all that we've learned. That balanced pelvis where the bottom's not sticking out or tucked under. This lovely silver cord lifting you to the sky. And then breathe in, up to the throat, Earth sequence. Breathe out, hands come down, knees are soft. Breathe in. We're going to do 3 repetitions of each different shape we're making. With our arms, with our body, but link the breath. Feel that this is a breathing exercise. Take the legs wider, breathe in. Come down towards a squat. 3 breaths. Start to open the hips a bit more, the inner thighs, toes are turned out a bit. And you'll kind of find that distance apart that works for your body, and you rise with strength, pressing into the feet. And this is starting also to strengthen into the glutes. Feel how your glutes support your low back. And now we're going to add a forward bend to that squat. So breathe in. The out breath is your forward bend. We're keeping it flat for the moment. So we rise by dropping our bottoms and coming up. All of this beautifully supportive of your back. Breathe out, fold. Drop your bottom, rise from a squat. Let's do that one more time. I've lost count. Breathe in. And out. Feel your hamstrings starting to open. And release. Give everything a little shake. And we begin some side bends. Just a few movements from energy block release one from Dru Yoga. So remember that our back every day has some key movements that it wants to experience. Forward folding, back bending, side bending, twisting, and support from your core. Breathe in, come up to stretch up to the ceiling, up onto your toes, and breathe out. Breathe in, lift up. So we're doing this quite dynamically. If your back is unsteady, you could keep it soft and contained and just keep the arms here and the elbows soft. It's up to you. One more. Beautiful. Let the arms float down and then open up your heart. Open up your upper back. So this for us is like a standing cat. We're getting this wave-like movement through the spine, but we've added the arms, which really helps to open the shoulders, the heart space, free the thoracic spine. But feel that lovely back bending and forward bending that's happening, starting at the base of the spine and coming up. This is such a beautiful healing movement. Last one. Lovely. And then as you rise up, hugging a tree, stepping to the side, coming straight into phase 2 of our standing twist. If it feels more supportive for your spine, you know, in the last few weeks, we've begun this with our legs not moving, staying in mountain pose, toes coming forward. So if that's better for you, then acknowledge that and honor that. And out. Breathing in and out. Last one. Arms float down. Hold the back, support the back, give it a little rub. And then squeeze the elbows together. Lift the heart. Support the back. It's not a back bend, it's a chest lift. And then forward fold, coming down. Remember that you can do this in a full fold, rounded, or you can keep the back flat to support it. Breathe in, rise up. Take the arms high. Breathe out. Support your low back. Lift the heart. Breathe out, fold. One more, breathing in, lift. Breathing out, up to the sky, and forward fold. And pausing here and having a sway, side to side. And if it's too low for you and the back feels like it needs more support, just come higher. Support yourself on your knees. You can still find a little twist and flow. But if it feels good to hang freely, do that. So always you're attentive. It's your practice. It's your back you're supporting. So explore what's right for you. Lovely. and then come back to center. Rise up, last big stretch to the sky, and open wide. And before we come down, we want to grab a cushion, something with a little bit of weight in it. You might have something closer by. We'll just have a look at lifting. So with that down in front of me, I take my legs wide. If there's a bit of weight in what I'm lifting, I come down just like we did with the squat. I keep my back nice and flat. I take the weight, I keep it close to my body and as close to my waist as possible. So this is supportive. And then I walk forward if I need to turn. I don't twist my body. I walk so my body stays integrated. So then take the legs wide, come down, and you place it down. So the whole time the back is supported with this flat back. Weight stays close to the body. So then another way to do it, if it's not such a big weight, and it's kind of more natural for some of us, is with the legs apart. I know I want to pick that up off the floor. Same thing, I can have a flat back, lift this, and bring it close into my body again. So I can just bring in that one leg forward and lift. You could also come right down with that back knee. But you can see in all these examples, the weight stays close to my midline and my back stays straight. Now, just like we did with segmental mobility with our bending forward, it's not unnatural. So if I'm just picking up this little block, that during the day I might let myself fold forward and then lift that. And that's important for segmental mobility. But the more we put some weight into that, the more we want to protect the back and make sure we're lifting with that flat back and staying close. So I hope that's helpful for you. You shouldn't fear lifting. It's an important thing to do, but keep those principles together. Flat back, weight close to body, and don't twist with a heavy weight. And with that, let's come down onto our backs. All make sense? So lying down, find that those lower abdominals, flatten, release, flatten, and release. And then feeling some awareness at the lower abdominals, some firmness there. Begin to straighten that right leg, hover it off the mat. And then bring it back slowly. Replace it, come to the left leg, slowly sliding. This is core work. We're holding the weight of our leg away from the body. And breathe naturally, but do this slowly. And with your hands inside your hip bones, I want you to really make sure that the hip bones aren't moving. That's what we're looking for, just this steadiness here at the pelvis, which tells me your core is working. So sliding away. Beautiful. We'll do 2 more. And maybe this you can feel building some strength. So this might be one of those 3 that you choose this week. It's just really activating our core. Now bring that left knee into your chest and straighten that right leg again. Really stretch through the heel. Check in with your lower back. If there's any strain there, then begin to bend your right knee as much as you need to take the strain out. Breathe in and lift your nose up to your knee and let that right heel relax onto the ground. Lifting nose to knee. If that's too strong, you don't need to add this curl. Just let yourself relax here. We're letting the iliopsoas lengthen. So now relax for 3 breaths, still holding that left knee. And I want you to imagine the front of that right leg in through the pelvis and the hip. Imagine it relaxing. The fibers in there softening. Big breaths into the belly. Really fill the belly. Shoulders are soft, face is soft. as if there's an unraveling happening at the front of the right hip. Beautiful. And then bring that right knee in, hug it into your chest, massage your low back. Lovely. And then keep the right knee tucked in, straighten that left leg. Notice if there's a difference, give it a big stretch, straighten it. And then if you need to bend it a bit to soften into the back, do. Otherwise, just let it relax there. And then 3 breaths, curling up to the knee. And out, rolling down. Again, if that feels too strong, then just breathe deeply and soften into the floor. We're going to join you in just one more breath. And now 3 breaths. And we're not just lying here. This is actually really productive work for the diaphragm, the iliopsoas that are connected. We know this deep, long breathing is a really effective way to release that iliopsoas muscle and free up our breathing. One more breath here. And out. And then bring that knee in and roll the legs around. Beautiful. And then either rolling to the side or rolling along your spine. We're going to meet up at sitting. We're going to add a movement today we haven't done before, which is sitting forward bend. So with your left leg forward and your right foot tucked into your thigh, sit up nice and tall. Take a breath in and take the arms to the sky. And breathe out, open the arms wide. Now just pay attention here, and if it feels like there's a lot of strain at the low back, just sitting in this way, which can do, it puts some effort into our posture, then tuck a little cushion underneath your bottom, which helps you to tilt the pelvis forward a little bit and raises the hips a bit higher than the knees. So tune in there. If you find it really easy sitting tall without the cushion, then that's okay too. So let's take another breath in. And this time as you breathe out, the arms come down to heart level and then stretch out in front of you. We're not trying to touch the toes. We're out at heart level, stretching forward. And let the arms come down. Breathe in, stretch to the sky. Breathe out from heart level, reaching forward. Hands come down, breathe in. We're also going to pay attention to where our neck is. So keep the chin slightly tucked as you come forward so the back of the neck is long. Breathe in. We're going to do 2 more rounds. So working with hamstrings. When our hamstrings are short, they pull on our sit bones, which then pulls on our glutes, which then pulls on our low back. It's all connected. Breathe out. Bring the hands down to support you wherever it feels comfortable. It could be next to your ankles, your knees, right up close to your hips. And then just have a little wiggle of your back. Try to settle in here comfortably. Give your knee a little shake. Make sure it's not locked. And take a breath in and lift the heart. And breathe out. Let yourself fall. Breath in, lift the heart. Shoulders are back. Breathe out. Breathing in, lift the heart, look forward. Breathe out, forward, forward. Beautiful. And then take the arms to the sky, both legs forward. Give them both a little shake. And breathe out, let the arms come down. And other side. So left foot comes into the thigh. And your hips might be different too. So one side might need a little bit of a cushion underneath the knee. Leg is straight in front, give it a little shake. Take the arms high. Breathe out, stretching out from heart level. Arms come down. So you know where we're going now. Breathing in, arms come high. So you can see how we just have a few little supports around us. And we don't even realize sometimes that knees in the air, it's straining. I'm straining to hold it there. And then, just give a little bit of support. And then we can relax into the body and let the hamstrings lengthen, and let our practice be compassionate. Now, supporting yourself. Again, this side could be different. I've got more of a pull on the right side of my hamstrings. The other side, you might have been able to come near your ankles. Now you might be better at your knee or even higher. Roll the shoulders back and down. Breathe in, lift the heart. Breathe out, let yourself round forward. Breathe in, lift the heart. So this is like a cat movement, cat-cow movement, but in forward fold. Just letting that hamstring gently lengthen. And then breathe out, give everything a little wiggle. If this is feeling delicious, this might be something you want to linger over in your own practice. Breathe in, lift to the sky. Bring that leg forward. Give the legs a little shake. And open wide. Beautiful. So we're going to come onto all fours now, beginning in our cat-cow. So lift the chest, stick your bottom out, tuck under. 2 more times. Feel that every disc is drinking in this movement, and feel the freeing around the spine. There's a reason this is a master posture. And then find a neutral position now in the middle. Extend that right leg, toes are on the ground. So press the earth away with your hands and roll your shoulders back. And I want you to really focus on that right glute and give it a squeeze. And then lift that leg. Maybe it's just a few centimeters off the ground, or maybe you can bring it into a straight line with your torso. And then just tiny little circles, as if you're drawing little circles with your big toe. And the whole time, just like we did when we focused with our glute when we're on our bellies in locust position, we're focusing on that right glute being active. Squeezing, squeezing. And then make those circles in an opposite direction. Shoulders are soft, face is soft. And bring the leg down, sink back into child's. Extend the arms. Little sway side to side here. Lovely long breaths. One more. And then bring yourself back up into tabletop. Before we begin the other side, just a few breaths of crazy cat. So you can keep it normal cat-cow if that feels more supportive of your spine, or begin to make circles with your hips, with your shoulders, with your head, finding what feels luscious for you in this position. Lovely. And then in a neutral position with the spine, extend the left leg. Focus on that left glute. Try to really squeeze it. I find it harder to activate this one, so I've got to really focus on making it come alive. And then I lift my toes. They may be just hovering off the floor, or maybe I can bring them up in a straight line with my body. And then I start to make little circles in the sky. Squeezing, squeezing. My right glute will be a little bit active, just holding and supporting me in this position. But what I'm really focusing on is squeezing, squeezing, making beautiful little ostrich eggs out of that left glute. Go the opposite direction with your circles. If there's any strain at the low back, just bring the leg down a bit more, because we start to make a back bend when it's high like this. Last one's breath in and out. Bring it down. Come back into child's. This time you may like to take the arms over to the right and have a little twist to the right. Look over that right shoulder. That's not right for you. Stay in normal child's. Take the arms across to the left. As far as it's comfortable, look to the left or look down. Be kind to your neck. Beautiful. And then back to center and coming down onto our bellies. So already we're in a bit of a back bend. We extend through our arms, big full body stretch, press into the hands, let the legs lift a bit while we squeeze our ankles. And come down. And then bring the hands either side of the eyes. Press into the hands and come into Sphinx. Sphinx is such a friend. It's such a lovely, soft back bend for most of us. Our elbows are underneath our shoulders. Give the hips a little wiggle. Let the back just rest into this. So you're either going to stay here, knowing this just feels good, and I encourage you, if you stay here, to look around, play with where your head is, let yourself maximize your time at Sphinx, or we're going to make it into Cobra, so a bit more back strengthening as well as this back bend. If you're coming to Cobra, the hands are underneath the shoulders, the elbows stay tucked in really quite strongly, and you're squeezing those shoulder blades together, so the arms aren't floppy, they're nice and active. And then you're going to lift the chest. I'm not even pressing into my hands at all. I'm just lifting the chest, trying to let my legs stay a bit relaxed. And then on an out breath, just touch my forehead to the floor. If that's too strong, go back to Sphinx. Now breathing in, I lift the chest. I'm going to put a little bit of weight into the hands and lift the chest even more. But I roll those shoulders back. I squeeze those elbows into my side. I squeeze the shoulder blades together so it's really open around the chest, and I can feel all my back muscles working to keep me here. My legs are a little bit engaged, but I'm trying to keep them relaxed as much as possible. And then on an out breath, coming down. One more, lift first, no hands, then add the hands, maybe rising a bit more, but the belly button stays on the mat. Roll the shoulders back, squeeze the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Smile. There's effort here. I feel my legs engaged a bit more. And then breathe out. Well done. And then using the hands, press into them and bring yourself back one more time into child. So after that lovely back bend, we're relaxing the back. So the Sphinx makes it a little bit more passive, but gives you an opportunity to work with your neck. And Cobra is definitely a strengthener and a lengthener. Breathe. And then let's come down onto our sides for a beautiful spiral for the back, maybe supporting the neck. Legs are 90 degrees. Last week we did it as an opening across the chest. Let's find our circle again this week. So breathing in, trail your upper fingers just up to just above the head. And breathe out, bring them back to the start. Breathe in, up overhead, and then across a bit so the chest starts to open. And then back. So just gently coming into this twist. And then now coming as far as it's comfortable. Maybe that's at a straight line with your arms. And then back. And let's do 2 more of those, just the upper part of the circle. Just feeling this beautiful, gentle opening. This lovely twist. And then now, once you're open, pause here a moment and let's take 3 breaths. So you might want to lift the shoulders and just give the shoulder blades a little shake. Lift the head and maybe look side to side. Look towards the outstretched hand. You may like to put some pressure on the top of the knee, or you may even like to change so that that upper knee is flopping inside, giving you a little bit of a deeper twist. But having the knees together is very supportive. So you decide. If you take them apart, that top knee can come down a bit more, but we want to keep our shoulders still nice and stable. Breathe into the belly. Just let things happen. We don't have to be moving all the time. And then breathing in. And as you breathe out, let the fingertips trail down to make the lower half of the circle. Roll back to the start, and let's make 2 more full circles. Breathing in to open, making the top of the circle, breathing out the lower part of the circle. In and out. Lovely. And then take your support away, roll onto your back, bring the knees into the chest, point the feet towards the skies. If the soles of your feet are walking on the sky, we're in happy baby. Hold your inner arches, outer arches, ankles, behind the knees, wherever it's available for you. And just let yourself kind of rock and sway here in happy baby, or just sit in peace and stillness and let gravity draw your knees down towards your armpits and soften into your groins, the hips. It's a really beautiful release, just like we do when we bring our knees to our chest and they're together. You can kind of massage into your low back. Happy baby is a beautiful pose. And then bringing the knees back together, and we'll come over to the other side. So you might, if you don't need to look at me, you can just kind of roll to the other side, or you might have to totally reset yourself if you need to have a look at me. So 90 degrees, head is supported, palms together, breathe in up to 12 o'clock. Breathe out back to the start. Breathe in, opening a little bit more, finding some twist. Breathe out. Breathe in, finding fullness, or you can take a couple more breaths if that works for you. And out. And the next time we open, we're going to pause there and hold in this outstretched position. If movement feels better for you, you can keep opening and returning to the start. As we hold here, just position the shoulders. You might kind of lift the shoulder blades by pressing into the back of the hands. Position the head and maybe look towards the outstretched arm. Explore the legs. Maybe you'd like a bit of weight of your hand on the top knee, or maybe you take the knees apart from each other to find a little bit of deeper stretch. So many options here to explore. There's no right or wrong. The only wrong is when you cause yourself pain. So your body will tell you, listen. If you're not sure, just come slowly, slowly. Asking your body with each breath, how is this for you? Pay attention. Get to know your own body. And then breathing in. And as you breathe out, paint the lower part of the circle and come back to the start. And then paint full circles 3 times. Breathing in, making an overhead section. Breathing out the lower. And back to the start. Breathing in. Maybe it feels better to put the knees back in the starting position for this with a full circle, you decide. Breathing in. And out. Beautiful. And then bringing the block out of the way, rolling onto your belly. Take the legs wide, we're in Makarasana, let the heels drop towards the center, hold opposite elbows, and relax your forehead on your forearms. Give the hips a little shake, and take 3 breaths here. Remembering if this is too strong, or if it's ever too strong on your belly, you can put a lowish sort of cushion underneath your lower belly to take some of the back bend out. Long, beautiful breath. Feel the belly press into the earth. And then bring the hands under the shoulders, bring the legs together. Press yourself up into cat position. Tuck your toes under, lift your bottom and walk your feet in towards your hands. And then slowly rise up to standing. Give everything a big shake up towards the sky. And then breathe out, open the arms, weights in your right leg. Left leg turns out to the side. Coming into tree. We practice all the principles we've learned for Tadasana. 4 corners of the feet, soft right knee. Right glute is engaged to stop that hip popping out. Long spine and an open heart. And then decide, does the leg stay here or come onto the shin or come up and tuck into the thigh? Where it's not is on the knee. And then we breathe, breathing in. Arms come overhead, stretch up, breathing out. Come down to the heart. Let's have a little bit more challenge today. So remember our kind of bendy arms from EBR1, these side bends. Let's see if we can do this today. Imagine those winds blowing through the branches of our tree, the winds of life that are always blowing just when you think you've got yourself all balanced and steady. The wind changes, doesn't it? And that's when we find our growth, our resilience. We realize we can handle what life brings. And then arms are extended, maybe a little twist side to side if that's available to you. Beautiful. And then breathe in, let both arms open into a Y shape. Index fingers and thumbs touch the Gyan Mudra of wisdom, and feel yourself standing here so triumphant, strong, confident. Bring it on, bring on life. And your hands are saying a big yes to whatever this day brings. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Hands come down through the heart space. The leg begins to follow. And then stand in the mountain pose. Remember your intention. I am a mountain of whatever it is for you. And then weight comes to the left. Right knee turns out, hips stay forward, 4 corners of the foot, soft knee, engaged left glute, long spine, open heart, and then choosing foot on the leg, on the earth, on the thigh. Lovely. And then breathe in, arms high. Breathe out, arms to the heart. Stay here or join me in some lovely side bends, letting the arms flow like seaweed under the ocean. So before we had the metaphor of the wind, now imagine that deep roots are going down into the ocean floor, and you've got the waves and the tides that come and go. And the seaweed just kind of moves with it, doesn't resist it, but there's also this root that goes down into the sand and keeps it anchored. Stronger than you know. Able to move with life. And then if you can, little twists with the arms at heart level. Feel all the work that's happening through your ankle. Whoop, I've over twisted. Through the knee, the strength you have. And then breathe and take the arms high in a Y position, index fingers and thumbs touching in the wisdom mudra, Gyan Mudra. Roll the shoulders back. Look forward, see life, see the day ahead, a big yes to whatever it brings. I know I am stronger than I know, and so is my back. And then breathing in, and the hands come through the center. Slowly that right leg comes back down. And here we are in our mountain pose. Beautiful posture of a yogi. Give everything a little shake. Some little figure eights with your hips. Loosen up those hips after they've been working. I am a mountain. I've got the horses going through the garden. I am a mountain of, what is your intention today? What aspect of your being are you bringing into your day? And then let's meet down on the mat, ready for integration and deep relaxation. So I've given us time for a nice juicy one today. You may have your legs up on your chair. You may have just cushions under your knees. You may be lying flat. There may be some support under your neck. I've got my blanket today. If I was putting support under my neck, I would keep it quite low like this. Actually, that feels quite lovely and supportive, and I kind of tuck the edges up over my shoulders. But you don't want a cushion so high that your chin is coming down into your throat. You still want to have a nice open back of the neck and throat. So finding balance there. Make sure the low back feels okay. And maybe fully straight and flat feels nicest for you. We're finding a place where we can come into a constructive rest. Hands by your sides, just stretch out from your shoulders and let them drop, palms are up. Or if today feels like you need a little bit more nurturing, maybe a little bit more containing of your energy, you might have your hands on your belly or even up around your heart. It can feel very soothing. Maybe you've got a lot on. Maybe you're feeling a bit tender today. You might just notice how the warmth of your hands, actually that feels really good too, at your heart or your belly. Just those basic gestures, what we would call mudras in yoga, really do change the energy, change how things feel. And then tuck your pelvis under, tuck your bottom under, let the back lengthen, whatever position you're in. And then relax it back down. Notice that might have just given you a little bit more space and balance there. And then take a deep breath in. And sigh it out. Deep breath in. Sigh it out through the mouth. Deep breath in. And then letting the breath settle. We're in a constructive place of integration. We feel the breath flowing in and out of the body. And for a moment, I'd like you just to really observe this process. Really focus on it. What does it feel like when I breathe in? What does it feel like when I breathe out? What does it feel like in my nostrils? What does it feel like in my chest, in ribs? What does it feel like in my belly and even my back? And then I'd like you to make a shift from really focusing on the feel of the breath to just experiencing the breath with openness, with open-heartedness, experiencing the breath. And perhaps finding some openness, some spaciousness in the experiencing. Without expectations of the breath, without a strong or rigid focus, just this open experiencing. And finding space for whatever's here. And perhaps noticing that the experiencing of the breath is in this body, in the whole of this body. Waves of experience, waves of openness, waves of receiving and letting go. With an open heart, what does that bring to the experience? An open heart. And then the invitation is there to notice that the experiencing of the breath is not just in this body, but in the space all around this body. The breath moving in waves, in and around. The experiencing is not just contained in this body, but in all that is around. The sounds, the sensations, the space, the interrelatedness and the interconnectedness to the light, to the sky, to the earth. This breath is flowing within me and around me. Where are the boundaries of this experience? And maybe this breath is not just my own, but the breath of the trees and plants and sky. Maybe we're all breathing together and sharing this breath. Sharing this space. sharing this moment. Open-hearted. And interconnected. And then having a sense of all the breaths you've taken in all the years, in all the miles of this journey of your life. And knowing that throughout this journey and in the rest of the journey that lies ahead, as Maya Angelou says, you may encounter many defeats, many challenges, many ups and downs, but don't be defeated. In fact, it may be necessary to encounter the defeats, the challenges, so you can know who you are, what you can rise from, how you can still come out of it. Even just in these moments of back care yoga, what a rich learning about your body, about your back, about yourself. Always, always, we're learning and growing. And so taking a deep breath in and out, and bend the knees and bring them into the chest. And then take the arms and have a big stretch overhead. And take 3 breaths to reawaken and move in any way that feels good. Feel your own body. Awaken it from this constructive rest, this integration in a way that just feels like you. And at the end of those 3 breaths, roll onto your side and lay here for 3 breaths. Compassionately transitioning from our yoga into our day. And then from there, supporting yourself to come to sitting and noticing what that is. Sitting in a chair, on a block, your favorite position. And then take the arms high and back to the heart. And let's seal our practice with 3 Oms. Breathing in. The highest in me sees and greets the highest in you. Namaste. Thank you everyone for joining. Remember to notice what 3 postures felt the best for you, so you can take those into your week. I'll have the recording up if you can have the time to do a full practice. But even within that, think about spreading a few juicy back movements throughout the day and notice what feels good. So if you have any questions about your practice or want to share those ones,